Boys and girls, so we're here. We have Brook on the couch, and we're doing something a little bit different. We obviously had Brook on here before, and we spoke about Brook's entry into personal training and fitness, and kind of what he did in terms of, you know, with his running and transferring over to like doing university, then getting into personal training and building his business. But today we've got Brook here because we're going to go through some common hurdles within health and fitness. So we've got a list of 14 of them, and we're going to kind of go through like our own experiences of what we have done to kind of overcome these hurdles when we've had them, and maybe give some examples of it. And also we're going to talk about it from like a client perspective as well. So when we've had a client that's been in that situation, and kind of what we've done as a coach to help get around that. And hopefully this will kind of give you guys some ideas of what you can do in your own lives to help you get over some of these hurdles. So I'll just quickly read them off for you, all 14 of them, so you know what to expect. We've got lack of motivation, time management, diet and nutrition, consistency, injury and recovery, plateaus, mental barriers, scroll, lack of knowledge, financial constraints, social and environmental factors. Brook, I'm going to need 4 more fingers. Body image issues, unrealistic expectations, stress and emotional eating, and medical conditions, like just illnesses and stuff. That's 14. We're going to go through them. Are you ready, Brook?
I'm ready.
How are you doing today anyway? You good?
I'm doing good today.
Fantastic. It's good to have you back.
To be
Brook's episode so far is the most viewed podcast we've had. And, you know, don't let go to your head, mate. Right, so lack of motivation. This is one literally everyone can relate to. When was the last time you weren't motivated, Brook?
This morning.
Yeah, fucking yeah. Tell me about it. Why? What were you not motivated for?
Oh, just on Friday I get up earlier than I do on my other days.
Yeah, the alarm went off and you were like,
just
I do not want to be up.
You're an early morning man.
I don't, mate, to be honest, my alarm went off this morning, and I kind of wanted to do 2 jiu-jitsu sessions this morning. I was definitely doing the 10 o'clock. I had my stuff ready for the 6 a.m. and my 5:20 alarm went off, and no, straight back to sleep. Got out of bed at 8.
Nice.
So I didn't want to do it. And
you're not a robot.
I'm not a robot. I am. Like I did justify my excuse I made to myself was I did 3 hours yesterday, so I don't need to do that much today. But no, I'm not a robot. I'm human. I want sleep, you know. But I wasn't motivated. I wasn't jumping out of bed to get up there. But I mean, I don't know if you agree the same with me. Like I'm like motivated, like fucking jumping, get up and go, like to do it. Are you the same?
Yeah, no.
Unless it's maybe something new or I'm like highly caffeinated.
I'm motivated when things are going well. You know?
Yeah, we all
so
are.
when things are going well, we're motivated, and then the rest of it. But only when there's the deep motivation that we believe in,
Mm-hmm.
and that keeps you going. But then in terms of like the acute now motivation,
yeah,
it's like hardly ever there.
So when you mean the acute that's there, is that like the motivation that we feel, where we feel energized, we feel positive, we feel like we want to go and do something?
Yeah, acute motivation. Well, yeah, I made that up then as a term.
But no, it makes perfect sense though.
Motivation to me, that meant like, this is when right now I have the feeling to do this thing, train. Yeah. Right now I feel like I really want to go and train. That might be like acute motivation, like I want to do this. But then the sort of like the deeper motivation is like the goal at hand, what we want to achieve.
Yeah.
So then we'll probably always have that deeper motivation because we want things. We want health. We want material objects, good relationships. So that's the deep motivation. That's probably there all the time. But then acute motivation, which is, I want to do this now, that's hardly ever there.
Yeah.
You know?
So I could say I'd say people who, let's use your deep and acute motivation then, I think that's a kind of good understanding. Like, I think most people that struggle with motivation don't really have a deeper motivation or a deeper meaning or purpose, if you want to call it, and they solely rely on that kind of acute surface level motivation to go for things. So when then in the absence of that, and then also in the absence of a deeper purpose and deeper meaning, people struggle to do things. So maybe the advice then could be around how can people establish a better and deeper purpose and motivation, so then they don't always rely on that acute motivation to go for. So like, what is like a big why for you then with your training? What keeps you training?
Maybe this is why people. This might be the message people need to have is understanding what their why is, right?
Okay, so why do you? So how many years you been training now?
I've been going to the gym 11 years, but I used to go for runs before that, so maybe 13.
So
13 years.
why do you continue to train?
Because so many reasons. I want to never have to struggle moving around.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like. I think at some point it will get pretty hard.
Yeah.
But I still want to be lifting in a way and doing strength stuff when I'm like 70, 80. It won't be like, we're not going to be doing like 160 kilo back squats or anything, but I still want to be picking up heavy things. Because I think you keep doing that, and it doesn't mean you're gonna like live forever, but at least in those like last 10 years, 20 years of my life, I'm going to be able to walk around properly. I never want to struggle with that.
I put up on social media the other day, train so no one else ever has to wipe your ass. I couldn't think of anything worse than like having to have like a random person or like a family member or a friend have to wipe my ass for me because I'm so like ill and immobile that I can't do it myself.
And there are obviously like things. There are obviously things in life that like, to be clear what we're saying. There are obviously things in life that can happen to you.
Yeah, 100%.
That are like out of your control completely, and that might need to happen one day. But from what it is within your control, and just how strong and mobile you are due to what you've done. That's like completely something you can avoid for most of your life.
Yeah. I want to be able to pick that tissue paper up and do it myself. No one should ever have to, unless it's obviously like a parent to a kid, it gets to an age where it stops and it should never happen again. You should be able to do it yourself. That's like a deep motivation. And I think when we're establishing that in clients, because obviously we kind of think about this from the get-go, because in like an initial conversation and consultation within a client, we're trying to figure out a why for someone. So weight loss is like a big one. And it's like, why does someone want to lose weight? Because it's not usually about the arbitrary number that they want to achieve. Like they want to go from 16 stone to 10 stone. It's the feeling that comes with that. It's the confidence. It's the health. It's the fitness. It's the looking better in certain clothes, looking better in photos, feeling sexier for their partner, feeling confident going dating. These are like whys we like try and establish for people from like our initial conversations. So I think we've got real deep rooted things that kind of expand, like, and for us is identity. We just are people that do this now. But I'd say for people who maybe struggle with lack of motivation and looking to kind of get that deeper meaning for something, try and dig in on what your kind of surface goal is. If it is like weight loss, I'd be like, right, why do you want to lose weight? To feel better on myself. Okay, what happens when you feel better about yourself? I feel better in clothes. Okay, what happens if you feel better in clothes? I feel better around certain people. What people? Why those people? Why do you feel better around them? And then just like kind of go down till you can't go anymore, and you start finding a deeper reason of like, it's because I want to feel better fucking my partner with the lights on. It's something like that.
Because like, to be clear, no one, like, you have to like understand this. Like and sometimes you have to break it down to make it understandable for people, but no one in the world cares how much they weigh, right? Because it's only the association with what that number means and what that implies for our life that we care about. If it's just like, here's if we like gave a different scale, right? Because you can weigh someone on kilograms, stone, pounds. If we invented a different one, D. Right, and we go, you weigh 16 Ds. and they're like, okay, but you say that to someone who because we've just invented it doesn't mean anything. No one cares what that means. You only care what kilos means or stones means because of what you think it means, because it implies to you something to do with either how healthy you are, how attractive you are. So people want to feel healthy, people want to feel attractive.
Yeah. I might pick like a random animal and like start referencing people's weights to a certain percentage of animals. Like you jump someone on the scale, it's like, you're 0.37% of a lion weight today.
It's dangerous.
Well, I'm sorry, 37% of a lion's weight today.
This is dangerous.
Or it might be like,
you're oh damn, you're 100% of an elephant today.
or it might be like,
This is not
you're
going well.
378 worms today. Just like, we change the animal every time, so there is no reference to how much they weigh.
There are some people's like fitness training apps that I've seen that have the feature that I quite like, that like you can do your training session and it'll go, you've lifted the equivalent to 3 hippopotamuses today.
Yeah.
And that's actually quite cool because you can like do a session and be like, oh damn.
Someone's already stole my idea. I'm going to have to think of something else then.
But it's relevant to what they've lifted, not how much they weigh.
But I mean, yeah, so I think lack of motivation is just understand and accept that motivation isn't always going to be there. For us, it's very frequently there, because for us, what we do is just so in our nature and it's our identity. Like, we wouldn't, if we didn't do what we do, we wouldn't have anything else to talk about. This is just who we are now. Like, this is what makes us interesting. It's our social circle. It's the people we hang around with. We train. Like, it's just part of what we do. But for people that aren't kind of there yet, or wanting to be there, it's like, I think finding that reason why you're wanting to do something and attach like a real good reason to it. Like, I think if you've got kids, looking at like spending more time with them, spending more quality time with them, being a role model for them, I think looking at that for motivation is probably a good thing. Or like a partner, or potential partner and stuff like that. I think finding a big reason on that. And that's what we try and do with clients,
and
ongoing.
If you're someone who has kids, you have got all the motivation in the world that you need.
Yeah. Because if you don't sort yourself out, you're probably going to put them in a position where they're going to have similar or maybe even worse problems with their health.
They learn everything from you, and then they need you for like a lot of their life. Like, and that's the world we live in now. Like, as well, like, your kids potentially they're gonna need stuff from you when they're 30.
Yeah. Fuck. That's fucking fuck kids. Right, no, don't. Shit. Mons alert. Right.
As in, like, yeah.
Time management. I think we covered motivation. I think that why. Figure out why. Number 2, time management. I think that's something we could. I know I can definitely be better with time management at the moment. And I think for time management within health and fitness is we're going to be talking about like making time to exercise, making time to do the tasks like go and do a food shop. You know, putting that time in your diary so it's like you can actually do it rather than filling your time up with other things, procrastinating. You know, I fucking procrastinate all the time. I was meant to be working earlier. I'm doing a Rubik's Cube. You know, so it's like time management. So what's your time management like, Brooke?
It's all right. Mostly out of habit.
Yeah.
Because I've done it for that long. But it's been better.
So what? So okay.
The best my time management's ever been is when, so I use like the Google Calendar on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
The best my time management has ever been is when, well, to be clear, my Google Calendar, everything that I know that I do in a week, every week, is always in my calendar. So if that's like, I do this running session, I do this gym session, I have this PT client at this time.
Yeah.
If I have those every week, they're always in the calendar. I don't need to put them in because they're always there. And then if I need to move them, I just move them around on like Sunday or whatever.
Yeah.
And the best my time management has ever been is then when also the day before each day, so say it's Monday night, I go through Tuesday, and every individual like half hour of that day, I like put something into it.
Okay.
Right, so I go, this half an hour I'm going to make my Instagram post. This half an hour is when I'm going to like reply to my messages. This half an hour is when I'm going to have lunch. And like each of those individual things in. When I put that in, the productivity, the time management through the roof. I get everything done that you need. Other times where it's not so good, it's when I've got all the other stuff in that has to be in there, and then sometimes I'm like, tomorrow I want to do this, and this, 5 other things. I know I want to do them, but I don't put them in. When I live like that, I'll probably only get 3 of those 5 things done, or 2 of them done.
Yeah.
When I've planned out each half an hour of the day, I'll get all of it done.
Okay, so what kind of stuff do you say for clients then? People who maybe just work 9 to 5s, because obviously we've got the ability to plan out every hour of our day because we're in control of the day. We don't have to go work for someone else. Obviously, apart from factoring in clients, what kind of stuff do you say for clients then who are trying to like plan stuff in?
I think some of the same stuff still works.
Yeah.
Like, when you have different working schedules, like, either way, you have, like, both a blessing and a curse. Because the thing, if you work a 9 to 5 versus having a schedule you can move around. If you have a schedule you can move around, great, you have more freedom to put stuff where you want. But then the curse is that you have, like, a different kind of prison you fall into where you just end up doing stuff everywhere. And just because you are maybe a self-employed person, or like we are, just because we on paper have more time to put stuff in where we want, it doesn't actually just make you more efficient with that time.
Yeah.
Because you end up sometimes maybe still just having more procrastination time.
Yeah.
When you work 9 to 5, you have a huge part of your day taken from you by the man. But then also, you kind of know that work in most of those jobs doesn't go outside of that 9 to 5. So then outside of that is free reign.
Yeah, I definitely think...
And there's a good thing to that as well.
Oh yeah, I definitely think people with a 9 to 5 will probably value the time out of those hours more, and I think they're probably in a better place to be motivated to do the other things outside of it. I think if you're given complete free reign with your hours, and I can speak personally from this, there's certain times where I know I need to be doing something and I've got so much time to do it, but because I got so much time to do it, I don't end up doing it, or I end up maybe like rushing it, doing the last minute, because I wouldn't schedule in that time, and because I've got a lot of free time to do it, it kind of can get pushed back. But like, imagine if you're working like a 9 to 5, it's like, oh, I've got my, once I've done at work, I've got to train. I've got to train, sort the kids out, sort myself out for stuff for the next day at work, have a bit of chill time, go to bed. But I've only got like 5 hours to do it in, so you're pretty efficient. You're like, all right, quick 45 minutes to the gym, go fucking sort the kids out at their dinner and stuff like that, have my dinner, sort my stuff for the next day at work, then have my chill time. It's like, you can probably be quite regimented with it. So I think it does come with just like, you kind of have to know what time you have, what tasks you need to do. Don't obviously overwhelm yourself with it all, because you can put so much in it and it becomes too much to do. And be clear with what you're wanting to do with that time, because that's exactly what you're doing. It's like, all right, I have these X things I need to do for the day, okay, or I want to do for the day. That's the time I have available. How much time is each thing going to need? Boom, 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 go. Some people may, not like living by like that kind of level of regimentness.
It doesn't need to be like that.
It doesn't need.
That's just like the productivity is highest when it's.
But and I definitely, think us personally, it probably would work more like that. But I think if you can just make sure you're blocking out a certain amount of time, or you develop the routine. If you like, right, I make sure I go to the gym before or after work. Find what works with you. Make sure you've got the stuff planned and prepared for those things that you need to do. Okay, whether it's just a checklist that everything needs to be done on that day or the week, or like I've got clients on my app and we have like a scheduler, so they can set reminders for certain things. They can plan in their workouts what they can do. They can create their routine, and some people find that quite helpful, and some people just need a checklist. Some people it's just like, here are things I need to achieve and do. Not so many time constraints on it. I just need to do them. Yeah. It could be like, Monday's workout, Tuesday's workout, Thursday's workout, Monday's nutrition, Thursday's nutrition, stuff like that. So I think maybe look at what you respond to best. Yeah. Whether it's, do you need every fucking 30 minutes blocked out? Do you just need kind of an overarching, checklist or summary of what you're going to do?
Because looking at time management practically, and applying it, I think looking at most people, almost everyone I've ever trained or worked with, I feel most of the time one of the worst things you can ever do is start the week kind of being like, I've got 3 training sessions I need to do and some meal prep I need to do, and just starting the week going, those are my 3 things I need to do, because you need to at least go, that's going to happen on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You need to at least decide bare minimum, what day it's going to be, and probably if it's going to be AM or PM. Yeah. At least if you do that, you're already in a pretty good place. Like just going, these are my 4 tasks for the week. Yeah. Say if it's just training and health tasks, just saying somewhere in the if you go somewhere in the week those need to happen, you're either going to get one of those training sessions done of the 3 or none of them, because you're never going to find regardless of what your job is, there's never really going to be a part of the week where you actually go, oh, I've got a bit of time.
Yeah.
I've just been blessed with this 2 hours of time. I wasn't expecting this at 4 p.m. this afternoon. Like, you have to be able to go, this is where it's going to be.
Yeah.
If you can then put a time on it, that's great. And if you are able to do the same things at the same times every week, then it's even better, right? Because say like when you want to go to jiu-jitsu sessions, it's easy for you to do that. And if I want to go to running sessions or jiu-jitsu sessions, it's easy to do that because the club schedules those in at certain times per week, and that's what time they are. So that's when you go, as long as you're available there, which you try to make sure that you are. But then people don't have as much of that with gym sessions, do they? Because you can go to the gym whenever you want. Unless you have a personal trainer, no one's sat there going, 6 o'clock Tuesday, see you there. Like, so you don't have that. So you kind of need to make that yourself by going, these are the times that I do it.
Yeah,
you can't just go through life going, I'm going to do 3 sessions this week.
Yeah, I say to clients, like, when they book in stuff with me, look at their schedule and book in their other sessions as if they're booking in sessions with me. And just treat it like that. Treat it like you're still turning up to a personal training session. You turn up to a session. A personal training session is a session for the client, but also going to the gym is a session for the client as well. So, like, still treat it like that. Give it that same level of value. Okay, like, treat it like you're paying for it. You are paying for the membership, yes. Obviously, there's freedom of the membership. But, like, treat it like you're paying for an hour to go to the gym. You know, put that kind of pressure on it and that expectation on it and keep that habit there. Yeah, there's going to be things that kind of come in the way every now and then. That's life. But, like, yeah, I think definitely finding that routine and setting, you know, some sustainable restrictions for yourself within the tasks and what you need to do is very useful. I could definitely do more of that myself with some other things. For sure. Right. Diet and nutrition. People struggle with food. Do your clients struggle? Have you got any clients struggle with their food?
My clients struggle with food.
What specifically? What is it? Is anything? A client that comes to mind. Obviously, we don't need to go naming names. But a client that comes to mind that struggles with food. Why do they struggle with their food?
This is huge, isn't it?
That's what she said.
Food is just so good.
Food is
types
broad.
of food. Because there's time management struggles with food. There's just like craving struggles with food. Okay, big food struggle that comes to mind is what some people might call, say, like junk food, or you know, if it's chocolate or crisps or snack food or whatever it is. And like, to start the conversation, I think it's like good to say there is, in the world of food, as in like manufacturing and selling food, there is billions worth of money per year that gets funded into research that is, how can we make food the most psychologically addictive thing for people so that they buy more of it. And then that's the challenge that, as people trying to eat healthy and people trying to teach people to eat healthy, that's the challenge we face. We face billions of pounds or dollars of research, which is how can we make something addictive.
It's an uphill battle, but I think a big thing that I try and teach clients and educate people is like the importance of good food, and try and show them through their results and how they feel and their performance, making those better choices with food actually helps them, actually puts them in a better position, actually makes them feel good, digestion's better, mood's better, focus is better, energy's better, they're losing weight, they're performing better in the gym. So I think it's like, we all know, like, you know, we know obviously because it's fucking what we practice and preach, but I think even people who don't implement it still know that they should make better choices with food. People know the natural choices to have with food. You know, is it something I can grow? Is it something I can kill? You know, a fucking Pop-Tart doesn't grow on a tree. You know, I think that is because I saw this thing about the processed food and ultra processed foods. Everything's processed. Like you get your packets of bacon, packet of bacon, like a sliced. Fucking the whole process of killing the pig. That's processed. It's processed. It's processed. Unless the pig is there in front of you, fucking squeaking, it hasn't been processed yet. Okay, you can go and process it. But there's someone spoke about ultra processed foods. Ultra processed foods is something you couldn't make yourself. If you had like, I don't know, could you make a Pop-Tart? I don't fucking know how to make a Pop-Tart. What is in a Pop-Tart? You know, I couldn't make some of these fucking sweets or something like that. You know, some of these like jelly cakes, or I don't know, whatever. I'm not really a big junk food. I don't really know what I'm fucking talking about, to be honest. I kind of eat quite natural things. But like, we all know that we should make those better choices towards more natural things. We know it's going to be better for our health and stuff like that. And I think the big task is proving to yourself that is probably the smarter thing to do. And that, you know, once you start seeing results from it, it becomes like kind of more of the norm because you kind of want the results. So then obviously with clients, it's like, right, it's establishing where they're at. You know, sometimes I've had clients come to me and it's like, yeah, I've got a diet of, you know, smiley face crisps and waffles and beans, and I might take a sandwich. That's their good meal of the day, is a sandwich, you know, packet of biscuits and stuff like that. It's like, okay, there's quite a lot of some natural foods, but there's probably quite a lot of like processed stuff in there. So it's that kind of education and showing of making the better choices with food that they do naturally feel better. Because we've all been there, we're like, order like a fucking Chinese.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, that'll feel good there and then long term you feel like crap. If you make something yourself and you still feel good eating it, and then you feel good after, you don't feel like crap the next day on the toilet.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be too crazy as well. Like there's obviously like the assumption that, you know, we're working on this health and fitness goal, and like we don't need to have a plastic tub with just chicken and rice and broccoli in it. And like even if your positive change is, say, to lunch at work you're taking a sandwich, packet of crisps and a chocolate bar, and like even if your change is just to go, actually I'm gonna look at what's in my sandwich, like instead of like just a peanut butter sandwich, I'm gonna start having like a tuna mayo sandwich, or like a ham and cheese sandwich. I'm gonna put like a couple slices of tomatoes in my sandwich as well, and then instead of taking a packet of crisps, I'm going to take like an apple and a banana, and then instead of that chocolate bar, maybe leave the chocolate bar in. You've given yourself an apple and a banana, and you've got rid of some crisps.
Maybe leave the chocolate bar in. Yeah, because I think people have too much pressure on diet, because I think you get like the Monday warrior. You know, the person that's like, fucking Monday's gonna be my week. It's gonna be my week. I'm gonna be on it, and they smash it. But they're so strict. They cut out all the stuff they love. They're so strict. Yeah, I had 3 salads today, and I got another salad for dinner. You know, drank all my water. You know, I haven't touched any caffeine, zero sugar now diet. And I think when people go from such an extreme, they try and do stuff like that, and people think that's the norm. It becomes too much and becomes unsustainable. But you can be very relaxed with diet. I do think like, if you're in better shape and you are very active, that allows you to be more relaxed with your diet. But if you're in a position where you are trying to lose weight and you are maybe like heavily overweight, you're not in a position where you can be as relaxed, okay? Because you're just in a bad position with your health, so you kind of need to be a little bit stricter to kind of get there. And I think once you kind of get there and you get in a better position with your health, and your body, you can allow yourself to be a little more relaxed. So there is a relaxed nature within the nutrition. Maintaining your weight's very easy. So like if you want to break it down to stages and say to yourself, okay, I'm going to lose X amount, set myself a goal to maintain it. Allow yourself to be a bit more relaxed. Then you do the next step, lose weight, set myself a goal to maintain it. It might be every few pounds, 5 pounds, every kilo, few kilos. And I think if you kind of then give yourself that mindset, be like, all right, I don't need to go from 16 stone to 10 stone. I just need to do 1 stone at a time. Learn how to maintain it. Okay, be a little more relaxed with food. Enjoy it. It's not a race. I'm not rushing this. But like, you do have to make changes with the food. That is the big overarching thing. Like, if you have results, you do have to make changes, and you have to accept that they just may not be as harsh as you think. And don't try and jump too far. Make baby steps. But then also don't get caught up in the wheel of, don't get caught up making too smaller steps that you end up maybe don't making steps at all. It's find that middle ground of like not going too fast and not going too slow. Find what works for you within the nutrition.
And by the way, it does get easier as well, right?
Yeah.
Because especially if you're bringing everything as part of the fitness and health lifestyle like together. Because if you're starting off, you never set foot in the gym before and you're just starting a diet, and we're starting off at that point, and then with the diet and the nutrition you need to be quite strict. But if you get to a point where you've been going to the gym for a couple of years, like if you've been going to the gym for a couple of years, you're fitter and you're stronger, and like reality is like your body needs more energy anyway, and you don't need to be quite as strict. And if you've been eating more healthy for 2 years, like if you've been eating lots of fruit and vegetables and less ultra processed food for 2 years, you actually kind of enjoy that food more anyway. Like
because like I said, you start seeing the results from it, you see the benefits from it.
You start to be motivated. It goes back to motivation as well. You start to be motivated by how good you feel from that food, not just the instantaneous feeling you get from other types of food. It's like, I enjoy the long-term feeling in my body when my body just feels healthier and more awake and more alive of healthier food. That's more motivating than, the 60 seconds I'm going to get from this packet of biscuits.
Yeah.
So then in time it gets easier because you get fitter and stronger if you're going to, if you're training as well, and you like the healthier lifestyle more. And it tastes better. Yeah.
So little things you can do with food as well, plan your nutrition, track your nutrition so you can learn what's actually in it. The amount of people I've had who started tracking their food, like, oh wow, it's actually, good to see how many calories are actually in this. I didn't even know. I didn't understand portions. I didn't understand, what protein was, or how little protein I was having, or, how bad my fiber intake was, stuff like that. I think you can do it as like a little learning curve, so you can actually understand food a little bit more, understand portions. So tracking and planning your nutrition, plan out your food shop, I think plan out your meals. Again, make it easier for you, like the whole time management thing, If you know what you're going to do, it'd probably be easier to stick to it. And also the overarching thing with diet and nutrition, you can have flexibility there, but if you are wanting change and you are wanting results to come from it, you do have to accept there will have to be change within your diet and nutrition, but just you'll learn how aggressive or not aggressive you need to be with it, depending on your results, I guess. You can enjoy food. You can still enjoy food. I love food so much. Right. And Nando's yesterday. Fucking nice.
I saw you Nando's.
It was big Nando's. Knocked me out. I was falling asleep in cinema like consistency. Overarching consistency of just doing shit. You get those people that get some momentum, start getting results, lose a few pounds, and they stop. What happens? What happens to those people? The wheel stops going. Motivation stops.
I think consistency is one of the things that I talk about most. Yeah. If that's on Instagram content that I'm making, or any internet content, or just what I talk to clients about. I talk about consistency all the time. But I don't think consistency to me means always necessarily doing things the same. Because actually you have to be adaptable. You have to adapt to letting yourself be slightly less adherent and slightly less perfect, and then having times when you are more perfect. But consistency has to, its core just means just don't stop doing all the things. Yeah. If it's just all of the things, eating healthy and doing your exercise, even if they're not always amazing, consistency is behind just never stopping any of them. Yeah. As long as you don't stop, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's the way I think about it is no matter the variables that are being thrown at you, the environment and what's going on, you are still continuing to make steps with your health and fitness, with your training, with your nutrition. So I'll give you an example. We talk about training. Let's say you have week 1 of the month, you're in your normal routine with work, you can train at the gym that you like, gym's going well, training's going well. But week 2 you have to go away with work. But because you're consistent, you find ways to train. You find a different gym to go to. You use the hotel gym. You go out and do a run. You're still consistent. Yeah, it's not the same routine you had before, but you're adapting. Okay. 3rd week, you're actually on holiday. Okay. you haven't got access to a gym, that's fine, but you're going out and you're doing workouts, you're going out and doing a run and stuff like that, you're finding a way to stay consistent. It may not have been the 4 workouts you did on week 1 or the 3 workouts you did on week 2, but week 3 you only did 2 workouts. That's fine, you stuck to it. Then week 4 you're back at home, okay, you get back into your normal routine, you do your 4 gym workouts, okay. So no matter the variables, you're still trying to do things. Again, with nutrition. Nutrition week 1 could be fantastic. Week 2 you're away with work, but you try and make choices. You make the better choices at the restaurant. You make the better choices when you're buying some, ordering some food in, buying some food out. You're on holiday. Okay, yeah, you want to enjoy yourself, but you're not letting yourself go, so you're still making better choices at the buffet. You're putting a big plate of salads there. You're trying to be conscious of your actions. And then week 4 you're back in the routine. So I think that kind of mindset of like, it doesn't always have to be perfect, but as long as I'm making choices that still align with what I'm trying to do there, I think that's how I would probably describe consistency, and that's how I view consistency. It doesn't really matter the variables, but I'm still trying to do something with it. So I've got clients who go on holiday, it's like, oh Tom, I didn't track my food, but I made conscious decisions with the nutrition. I didn't have too big of the portions. I thought about banking some calories. I'm like, cool, you were consistent. You still did it. It wasn't your perfect week where you can track and manage and measure everything and do everything to the T, use the exact machines that you need, go to the gym and whatever is that, but you still had the underlying habits there. You were conscious of your exercise, you were conscious of your nutrition, you thought about your sleep and your routine, you got your steps in. For me, that's consistency. It doesn't need to be
it doesn't have to be consistently doing the same thing all the time, but it's like consistently caring about what your goal is, consistently making an effort, and consistently doing things that are helpful to you.
So is there anything that you personally struggle to be consistent with at the moment, or can think of a time where you struggled to be consistent with a certain thing, whether it was with your training, business, anything, nutrition?
I struggle to be consistent with stretching and mobility.
Okay, you still currently struggle to be consistent?
Always, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So what's something you feel you could personally do to maybe help? What's stopping you? Are you trying to find a perfect way to do it? Or do you maybe need to think about smarter ways to fit that into current routine?
It's like I always prioritise maybe doing my strength workouts or doing my running or whatever. I'll prioritise that over stretching. Maybe because those feel more fun, or maybe because those feel like they're giving me a better benefit. And then what's sort of like, and then flexibility or mobility feels like the thing that I'll do if there's time left over for it.
So I'm going to solve your problem. No, generally, I'm going to solve your problem. If you take this advice, you won't have this problem. Okay, so this is something I struggled with. I hired a flexibility coach and worked with him, and he gave me so much knowledge and stuff. But what he set me to do, I told him how often I was doing gym training, how often I was doing jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And then he's like, okay, how many training sessions do you think you could do with this? I thought, I could do 2 and extra of those a week. I do it. I started it off, the time I was working with him, I did those extra 2 sessions. But then stopped doing that, and then realised that, this is quite a lot of training that I'm doing now. And I struggled to actually sustain those extra sessions he was giving me for stretch and mobility. So what I've done, some of those movements that I need for my flexibility and mobility, I have found ways, and I've put them into my routines, and they translate to, if I need a leg day mobility, they're in my leg day routines. They are an exercise in my leg day routines. If I have an upper body, they are an upper body one. They are an exercise in my upper body routines and stuff like that. So I haven't added extra routines. I haven't added really extra time to routines. I haven't taken away from what I wanted to do. I have used exercises that help me with my mobility and flexibility, okay, and also allow me to train things I want to train. Now, could my flexibility and mobility be progressing faster than it is? Yes, but is it progressing? Yes. Okay, and it's a standard that I'm happy with. If I made more time for my stretching and flexibility, it could be even better, of course, but I'm not willing to have that trade-off with gym training and jiu-jitsu training. I'm happy with the level it's at. I am seeing progress in my mobility and flexibility, so I'm happy with that. So it's finding certain exercises that you can put into the routine that still train hip extension because you want hip extension, but also it's working things in a lengthened range because you want flexibility and mobility.
It's finding an efficient time to do it.
100%.
And you could put mobility exercises in some of your rest times.
So, and it's not even that. It's some of my acting
But is your exercises on like a Cossack squat or something?
So let's say I want to train legs. Okay, so I've got my exercise I like doing, but I also have certain exercises that I've got in there that still allow me to train fucking quads or something like that, but they help with mobility as well, because I may be doing it in a real length and range. I've started doing Hatfield squats, so I've got safety bar on, and rather than just holding it like this and just allowing the squat, I want to get a better squat depth. So a Hatfield squat is where you have the safety bar rested and you hold onto the rack, and now it allows me to support myself and sit right down into a deep stretch, so I'm taking things into a further length and range. Doing those, I've noticed an ankle mobility and better hip mobility, especially through the groin. Okay, it's still a squat variation. I can't go as heavy on it because I'm taking things into a length and range, but it's also helping with mobility and allowing me to train legs. Okay, another example is throwing in like a sissy squat, knee mobility, a lateral lunge, Cossack squat for like groin mobility, but it's also allowing me to train my fucking quads, train my hamstrings, train my glutes. You know, hit hyperextensions, or glute hyperextensions, even though it's not hyperextension, glute extensions. We're on like the 45 degree. You doing stuff like that, but I'm going into a deep stretch at the bottom, help with lengthening the hamstrings, but I'm also trying to train my glutes at the same time. So I'm finding those multi-purpose, multifaceted exercises that kind of cover those bases, or maybe just switching up certain exercises to do that. Consistency. And I'm noticing it. That's your homework. But yeah, so let's say I'm just trying to think if I have anything else to actually say on the whole consistency thing. I think we've kind of given the analogies there in that sense, but like I've probably got clients that struggle with the big thing is like, am I consistent with my training? Am I consistent with my nutrition? I think what we just touched on is like, doesn't need to be perfect.
Yeah.
I think if you remind yourself it doesn't need to be perfect, and like maybe educate, allow yourself, like give yourself like, all right, what's a minimum, okay, that I want, and then understand you got your perfection as well. And if I can fit in there, like your perfection might be 5 training sessions a week, but your minimum might be 1.
Yeah.
Give yourself that level, and that gives you consistency there.
I think it's good to like clarify, like consistency is more important than that perfection, in the sense that like it's better to do 2 gym sessions per week, and you do that every week, for example, than it is to do like 4 or 5 gym sessions every week, but you only last a month before you give up for another 2 months.
Yeah.
It's more important to sort of, for your diet to be like averagely good than it is to be amazing.
Yeah.
And just stick with it.
Yeah. It's like, final analogy, dartboard. You don't need to get perfect fucking 20s, triple 20s, or bullseyes, whatever it is. You just gotta hit the fucking board. And when you're doing something to hit the board, even if you're hitting the outer rim where there's no points, you're golden. Then you'll get better. For example, I remember in my late teens, my consistency with my training and nutrition was a bit whack. Well, definitely nutrition. It was kind of all over the place, But now look at my nutrition now. So let's say, the dartboard was this big when I was like 18, but now I can get a real tight grouping with my nutrition now, because I'm more experienced, more disciplined, more, I've got clear ideas of the goals, because I've been in it longer. So over time you get like you can dial it in more, like a fucking sniper down the range. Get fucking good at that. Yeah? Consistency. Just keep fucking turning up. That's how we do it. Right, injury. Haha, injuries fucking piss people off. Injuries suck. No one wants to be injured. Pull your back, tear a fucking quad, blow your knee, broken heart. What was your last injury? What did you last have?
My last injury.
Have you had a serious injury? Have you ever done anything to your ankle? Achilles?
Nah, I pulled my hamstring. That was pretty bad when I was 17, but I've never had a hamstring injury since, which is quite good for someone that's like running and sprinting. But I probably every 2 years or so, I reckon, I get a lower back pain for a month or 2.
He needs to be doing a stretch and mobility. Fucking this guy over here. Okay, so does that stop you from doing certain training?
Yeah.
When you have that kind of thing, how fucking annoying is it?
Annoying.
Annoying.
Sucks. Yeah.
Does it mess with your consistency?
Yeah.
It's a mess of your motivation.
Yeah, man.
So what process do you then go through? Because you're an educated guy, you know you need to kind of get over this hurdle of your injury because you want to continue progression in your training. So what do you do every 2 years when your lower back starts flaring up?
What's important for me is knowing I can still train, but I have to adapt it. And I have to adapt it for two things. Because I have to adapt it to, one, be able to train with the pain. So train in a way that's not aggravating the pain and allows it to recover. So just find the alternatives to training that still help me to get to the goal that I want, but aren't ruining the injury.
Mm-hmm.
And then also train in a way that is helping to recover and rehab the injury.
Mm-hmm.
So it's training to make progress in spite of the injury and training to rehab the injury itself.
Yeah, not just fucking ignoring it. So I love injuries. I do so much rehab for people. And I've done bits of, I had like a hip, maybe impingement, mild sciatica or something. I never got diagnosis. I'm not too fussed on diagnosis. I'm fussed on sorting the problem. So my hip was a big thing for me for ages, and it was all to do with certain muscles were overworking and some muscles were doing fuck all. So I had to learn how to start strengthening up these muscles that weren't doing anything. So that, why I hired a fucking coach on it, education on it, and that was me implementing a certain style of training to help me work around those areas, as well as obviously working on other things. I was obviously working on the main progress of my training. So yeah, I definitely think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. But it's like, yeah, you do have to address the injury. I've had clients like I had this guy who came to me with his shoulders. His shoulders were like this. Like he'd put one arm up and this other one wouldn't go up. We managed to get him like kind of pretty even. A lot of work I was doing with him. Okay, and I was like, you need to continue to work on this. This guy was like, this guy is like, he loves training. He loves just going in. Fucking, he's very old school. Like, I just want to smash it. Just want to absolutely beast the training. He used to like never really warm up, which is like, typical bar, few reps, plate, 2 plates, whatever. Try and get as high as possible. Just like every session, like redlining it. And so we had to teach him like, we're taking this down. We're gonna work on all. There's so many muscles that aren't working for you now. And we got him to a good point. Sweet, happy days. You carry on. He felt comfortable. He could go do his own thing, and I was like, continue to do this. You'll be absolutely fine. What happens a few months later? Top of my shoulder again. Fucking redlining it. It's like, So it's like, you do have to understand the injury is there. Yeah, you do have to address it, because like, it's just going to get worse if you don't do it.
Yeah.
And understand, like, if you're implementing things, that could be a weakness that lasts a lot. You could be back, to normal in several months, depending on the injury, several months, few years, whatever it is. But understand that weakness might always be there, or it's definitely going to be there for a lot longer than you think. Yeah. So like, respect it. Respect the injury. But do the things that you need to recover it, like you said, sorry. And yeah, definitely like find those alternatives that still allow you to at minimum maintain, or in some cases still progress in certain things. Like, for example, if you've broke your legs, you're not going to go squatting, so you're not going to look for alternatives for legs. But, like, you're going to allow that to heal, and you're going to find rehab stuff for your legs. But you can also go smash your upper body, as long as you've got, an accessible gym and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think injuries and pain, like you said, a bit ago, I love injuries. Obviously, you love, like, helping people.
I love working people
like,
through injuries.
Injury is such an interesting thing, because it can be so difficult. Because it's so complex, like when you look at like injury and pain science as well, because like there's so many different ways it can go, because some little injuries, little things can just happen. You have a little pain, and in a few days or a couple of weeks it will just go away. But then other things, you just have a little thing, you can ignore it, and it will just get worse and worse and worse. And there's lots of, and there's like psychology in it as well. So like, some people have injuries and pains, and there's research on like some people who like worry too much about their injuries and pains. They make it, they make it worse by thinking about it, by being too conscious of it. Yeah. But then some people are too oblivious of it, and they just ignore it, and then it gets worse. So like, and what that says to me is like, we have injuries and pains. You're always going to get them. You're never going to be someone who trains hard and doesn't get these injuries and pains. It won't happen. But like, you have to be conscious enough of them to go, okay, that's there. I'm going to be thinking about that and seeing what I can do to help it. But then also not like, God, blimey, I've got an injury like now. I can't do anything. I have to only work on that now. Like all training's out the window until I've like fixed this injury, until I've got better and recovered. Because if you're that kind of person, your injuries are going to be worse. And then if you're the other kind of person, your injuries are going to be worse as well. So you got to be smart and be the kind of person who doesn't ignore them, but also doesn't like lose the plot when you have your
I know someone who was diagnosed with like a bipolar disorder based around an injury, because it had been so long since they had it was like a spinal injury, and the doctors were like, it's healed, there's no reason you should be in pain doing certain things, but they just worked it up so much for themselves that they were experiencing pain like psychosomatic.
Pain
doing
comes
certain
from
things.
Pain's from your central nervous system. It's from your brain. Like it doesn't always exist. Like you have a bad back. There's not always, you can't open your back and look at the tissues and see what's there.
Yeah,
like,
it's not like one of them's like fucking just molded.
That's what people need to understand as well sometimes, because like you can, like a lot of pains, not all pain is an injury as well.
Yeah.
Some of it's just pain. So some of it you can, like there are certain things you can just do and it can be gone. And that's like the cool thing to understand as well. Like it's not always like these broken tissues or these torn tissues, these tissues that are wrong. Like
sometimes it might be something tissue that's too contracted, like lower, like inactive muscles, things you haven't been using when you got like a tight lower back or something like that, tight hips. Sometimes it's something that hasn't been worked a lot and it is tight. But something I found myself speaking to a lot of people lately about is like the lower backs. Everyone's like, oh, my back's gonna go. It's like, your back muscles are just like your bicep muscles. They're there, they have a function, they have something to do. They it's an extension of the spine and support around the spine. You want it to move, you want to feel it working. It's like, oh, I can feel my back working. Is that right? Yeah. Do you feel your biceps when you do a bicep curl? Yeah. Well, that's the same thing in your backs. You're doing like a deadlift, you're doing like a bent over row, you're picking something up. Those muscles are going to be working. You're going to be feeling it. But people that quickly associate that with, oh, no, I don't want to be doing that. That's pain. It's not. There's a purpose there to it. Yeah. So, and I think when I see it in people, when they kind of become relaxed with that, they do become more relaxed with the movement. Another big thing for injury though is like, they do suck. So like when you're depressed because you're injured, like, let's say you had a catastrophic injury and you fucking, snapped your ankle or something like that, and you had to have like months out of the game because you couldn't physically get to the gym, you couldn't drive. Like, it's not fun. Do tell yourself, you'll get to a point where you'll look back and you'll be like, oh, that flew by. But like, just like I've got my cousin at the moment. He's just gone through ACL, PCL, MCL, meniscus surgery on his knee. Pretty much 75% of his knee. I said, why did you not just destroy the rest? Why didn't you go to Grand Slam? But he's not in a good place. He's not in a good place with it, and it's like I just continue to remind him like, this will fly by. It's already been like several weeks since the surgery. You need to just do the little bits of you got to wait through the recovery stage. Then you got to start doing little bits of rehab. Like, stay positive about it. You will eventually get back to where you were. Just remain positive. Just remind yourself it will heal, and do the smart things about it. Because some injuries we all know someone who's like, I stopped training years ago because this happened. I just never got back into it. It's like,
it's been 20 years and they've still got a bad knee.
but they've done nothing about it. But like, do stay as positive as you can about it, and do the things that kind of keep you on the right track. Even though it's not doing the training that you want, just you'll be back to it. But just don't rush it as well. Right, 6, plateaus. This is a good one for you, Mr. Runner. I bet there's been times where you've been fucking smashing training, everything's going good. Time's not changing when you're running. You're not fucking still the same. Plateauing with your running. You experienced that?
Yeah.
Yeah? At the moment?
6 years.
But like, we've all experienced plateaus, and like, I think plateaus, maybe not for running, plateaus because you've kind of have probably like maximized like what you can do with your running. Do you feel? Maybe you're like the percentage for now increases, like it takes so much.
Yeah.
So much time to do it. But like basic plateaus with like, weight loss, seeing basic strength gains and stuff like that. I think there are easy fixes around it. Some of those being, it may just be overall intensity. Things need to go up. So intensity with training, intensity and accuracy with diet. Okay, intensity, accuracy with your overall routine. sometimes that can go up. Because, like, you know, there's been times where I've been there when I've done, like, periods of weight loss. And I've hit a plateau with losing weight when the easiest fix, and I've been there for a while, and it's like, why am I not losing weight? And the easiest fix is like, all right, well, this is just the time I need to fucking dial it in a little bit more. I need to be a bit more accurate with what I'm actually eating. Okay, maybe I've given myself a range of, like, you know, 2,500 to 3,000 calories. Okay, maybe that range is a bit too big right now. Maybe I need to dial it into 2,500 to 2,750. Okay, I just need to fucking bring that group in a little bit more on the dartboard. Okay, I need to be a bit more locked in on it. And sometimes you may have to increase the frequency of what you're doing. You're doing things. Increase the frequency of training. Increase the frequency of, you know, frequency is like, I think if you look at volume or intensity and frequency is the frequency of you doing the action to get you to where you need to be. So I think plateaus are annoying, but I do think there are easy fixes. Have you had any clients have plateaus with anything lately? Weight loss, performance in the gym, that they've wanted to address?
Yeah, always. It happens to everyone.
Yeah, it does.
And sometimes the thing with plateaus, it can be complex, because maybe the first part to solving a plateau sometimes is figuring out exactly where you are, and there's a figuring out phase of what the problem is.
Yeah.
Use weight loss as an example, right? Because people could maybe plateau for a couple of reasons in weight loss. Because you've been tracking your calories or something for a while, and you've lost a bit of weight, and now it's plateaued. And someone, you know, a client comes to you and goes, "Oh look, you know, I've plateaued." And I think that, like, there's sometimes two options there for you to look at, because someone might come to you, they've plateaued, and actually they need to, like, do like a reverse diet, right? So sometimes someone plateaus and they need to do a reverse diet so that they can basically start eating more calories so that they can lose more weight long term.
Yeah.
But some people come to you, they plateau, and you go, oh, maybe they need a reverse diet. And you, like, look into it a bit deeper, and you're like, actually, maybe they just haven't been sticking to the calories that they've been saying they've stuck to, or thinking they've stuck to. Like, maybe they've just relaxed. They're like having little snacks and not tracking it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they're not actually weighing it anymore, or now they're, like, you know, they're only tracking some of their days, or, you know, they've just eased off. So, you know,
that's literally what happens to 99% of the people I work with.
Most people, you might, like, you could think, oh, you know, diet's been growing really well, maybe it's time for a reverse diet. But most people, it's probably actually that they're just not sticking to it as well anymore.
Yeah.
That's, like, probably more of the time than someone needing a reverse diet.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh, I'm eating well. Okay, well, we're not seeing any results at the moment. Like, you've been getting results up to this point, and now it's been like a month, and usually we, you know, at the trend of what you've been doing it, we should have expected you to be here, but you're here. What's been going on? I said, oh, I've been eating really well. Okay, what things have changed? Are you still tracking as much? Are you still tracking 7 days a week? Now I'm only tracking about 4 days a week now. Okay, oh, all right, that's totally understandable. You've made this progress. You may be being better with your intuitive eating, but maybe it's the not tracking of those 3 days now that's, you know, causing that to happen. What about your training? What's that been going like? I said, oh, you know, I've maybe been missing a session here and there. My steps have actually been a bit lowered this time. Okay, cool. So now we're starting to figure out, like, the reason behind the plateau, like why this trajectory of going down with weight loss is now fucking flatlining. So you start looking at those things, you can start realizing, there's the problem. Now I think there's the other plateau where it's like you've maybe exhausted all resources and you've maximized what you can do. And I think, like you said, the reverse diet or a deload with, like, training and stuff like that, taking a step back to take 10 steps forward again. Sometimes those things can kind of come into play and be like, all right, you need to do that. You know, like when we've maybe peaked a lot with training, I've peaked a lot with jiu-jitsu, you peaked a lot with your running or something like that, and you've kind of, like, hit a red line, you've been holding it for a little bit, you've got a, you know, competitive season coming up, stuff like that, and, like, your body's pretty battered, you've done your competitive season, so it's like, all right, this is probably going to be a plateau here because I'm in pain and my body's not recovering, it's not recovering from this, I'm not going to develop and grow, I need to take a few steps back so I can take some steps forward. So it's like those are probably going to be the only two scenarios.
But then you look at it and you can realise actually only one of those scenarios is a true plateau.
Yeah.
One of those is that you just relaxed a bit.
Yeah.
And that's not technically a plateau. It's just that you're not as adherent anymore.
Just
as you
people
were.
like to call it a plateau because it makes them feel better.
So like, so if you hit a plateau, you need to like before you can even solve it, you need to realize like, have I actually just eased off? Am I not being adherent like I was before? Or have I actually hit a plateau? And if you really look at yourself, it's quite easy to work out maybe, because actually if you go, oh, I've been being absolutely perfect, I've been hitting everything on, nailing everything on the head genuinely, and now my progress has stopped, then you probably have hit a plateau. If you're like, actually I'm not doing quite as much as I was like a month ago or 2 months ago, then you haven't hit a plateau, you're not doing as much anymore.
That's it.
And then if you have truly hit a plateau, you can start looking at how to solve that plateau, which is usually you just approach the problem from a slightly different angle so that you can get a slightly different adaptation.
He's on it. Right, mental barriers. Confidence with things, belief to do things. You know, you tapped someone out the other day at jiu-jitsu. His first ever submission. You got someone to tap out on him.
I did.
Now, you may have had a certain mental barrier that led you to believe, can I tap someone out? Is it within my arsenal? Is it within my abilities? I've been doing this for a few weeks now and I'm yet to submit someone. And it's your fault, really, because you go to the fucking difficult class. Okay? You went to some of the other classes, you'd find more people to submit, and you turn up where a lot of us compete. So you get submitted a lot. But like, mental barriers, mental belief, mental struggles, mental challenges. I'm not saying you had that, but that was just a funny example.
There is. I spoke to you about an example yesterday, because after I'd tapped that guy out, then I was just talking to you, and I was like, you know what, mate, actually sometimes, like, if I'm rolling with or fighting someone who I know that they know, if I know they're good, like, I go into it like, oh, you know, they're obviously going to beat me. So I kind of like, I actually almost let that get to me, and like if I get in like a difficult situation, I'm almost like, oh, just take me. Just, you know, I just like almost just give in, sort of like, which you shouldn't do. But then if I go into like, if it's like someone new, I don't know how good they are, I go in with a little bit more confidence, because I'm like, you know, I don't know that they're really good, you know, maybe they're not that good, maybe I can beat them. And then even if they are really good, sometimes I can like, even if they're really good and I'm completely new to it, I can hold my own a little bit better than sometimes, you know, it's like that limiting belief, and I'm letting it overcome me.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if I know someone's really good and I know they're going to have something to deal with everything I give them, I'm just have me, mate.
What's the point of fucking trying? No,
it's wrong.
Like, for example, like the people who they feel they've tried and exhausted everything within the health and fitness, and they're still not trying to lose weight, so they have a mental barrier to actually trying and accepting everything. And usually it's because they just haven't given something enough time. They haven't been as consistent with it. They haven't been giving it the best intensity. Hence why they have that mental barrier, that limiting self-belief around something, because they're just so used to being knocked down. Yeah. Like, if you always lost, if you felt like nothing was ever working at jiu-jitsu, or even running, let's say running never progressed, you know, and you kept turning up and you were getting slower and slower, you were always last, you know, you're doing the training but nothing's working, that's going to give you a fucking bit of a mental block on it, no matter how much you fucking love it. Now, obviously in reality, if you keep turning up and doing the training, you 9 times out of 10 you are going to get better, as we know, obviously there is a cap to it. But like, I think the mental barriers, I think if you're really kind of worried about something, or you don't believe that you can do something, even if you know it's something you want to do, I think you've got to kind of look at the lowest barrier to entry for something you want to do. You know, let's say you want to go in the gym and you want to start lifting heavy weights with a barbell over in the free weight section, but maybe you're not ready to go to the gym yet. Okay, can we start off, go either, you know, can you do something at home? Can you go to a class that you feel comfortable with? Can you go with a friend? You know, can you hire a personal trainer? Can you do something that just makes it easier to kind of get past that mental barrier? Use something to help you make it a less kind of high pressured environment, so you can gradually kind of work up to kind of where you want it to be, you know, deadlifting on that platform with those barriers. So for example, the jiu-jitsu thing with you don't believe that you can submit Ricky, the black belt coach, okay? I'm fucking so close sometimes. I still don't believe I can do it though. But like, okay, but you start off, you submit the white belt. Cool. You submit them a few times. You get a few of them. You know, they all of a sudden they're not submitting you. The ratio of Brooks to submission ratio of white belts is fucking high. Brook's smashing them. You then get a blue belt. You submit a blue belt. Sweet, that's going to give you more belief. You start coming across blue belts. So I can submit blue belts. Start submitting a few of those, and you go purple belt, you go brown belt, and you hit black belt. And then it's going to give you more belief. And it's like, you know, it gets to a point where like a fucking white belt walks in, you're like, fucking, I could destroy them. Easy. There's no way in hell that they can get them. You're so relaxed when you fight them. You're so relaxed when you go against them because you know there's nothing they can do. You're fucking destroying them left, right, and centre. You know, and that just becomes a time, obviously experience as well, but like your belief to do that and your confidence to do that. Because like at the moment, it's like I say, go fucking submit that person. And say, I don't know if I can do that. You know, but you know a few submissions. Just got to prove to yourself that you can do it. There's a few guys there that I'm just there like I never thought I would have been able to submit them. I had catch something lucky with them, and something lucky like something maybe I didn't plan to get into that certain position, but I managed to find a submission. All of a sudden, that changes my mental outlook with it, and when I'm next fighting them, I'm going at them with my game. I'm like confident with what I'm doing, and that completely is a whole change in dynamic of like that fight now with them, because I have a clear plan with what I'm going to do it with and know what I want to execute. So then that makes my fighting a lot more direct and a lot more efficient and just a lot better. I'm a lot more aggressive because I know I can do it. So yeah, I think it's just like it's layers to the mental barriers of building up those certain things, but I think making it as easy as possible to get to do it, to get to do the thing that you want to do and break it into little steps, little mental digestible chunks for you is probably the easiest thing.
And reflecting on different kinds of wins, like now if we like, you know, you take it back to like everyone else like following their goal and sort of like being disheartened when they get there, and you know maybe that's like something like weight loss, because that's what we end up talking about a lot. Like, we probably both have had like clients that they've just tried so many times before, so they're disheartened all the time, and it's like, you can see they're making progress, but they kind of do things. They say things like, "Oh, you know, I'm just not skinny yet. Well, I'm just not fit." And you're like, oh, yeah, but you know, you're like way better than you were a month ago. Oh yeah, I'm just not there yet. Yeah. I'm just not there yet. And you see with this person, they're not focusing on the little successes they made because everything is, I'm just not there yet, and so then overcoming that mental barrier is like just focusing on the small and consistent, or the consistent process they're going through. That's going to be a long one. Yeah,
it's like when you look at like clients look at like body transformation photos, and then most people are kind of looking at their gut or whatever it is, and looking at their ass. It's like, well, it's not changing. Yeah, but look over there, and your physique. That's changed loads. You know, so sometimes changing perspective as well, and like changing the angle of what you're looking at things and the way you're measuring things. Not just physical, but like progress and whatever like that, I think can be helpful. All right, easy one. Lack of knowledge. When lack of knowledge is a barrier, okay, what do? You go learn. Give me a place of where you can learn something.
Podcasts.
A podcast. Another one. I'll go book. 3. Next one. What's the third one?
A Netflix documentary about nutrition.
Netflix documentary about nutrition. Hey, it makes it easy to digestible.
Don't.
I think it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing, and I think if it gets you going down a path, if it gets you understanding and learning, it's done a positive job. Just don't go buy their books. Okay, don't go buy their stuff. It's fucking shit.
Instagram. Hire a coach or professional, someone who knows.
Yeah,
more.
A coach. Hire someone who can A, do what you want to achieve, or B, can have helped people do what you want to achieve. Okay.
Spend time with people who have done what you want.
Yeah,
already.
Hang around friends who are knowledgeable in the areas you want to be knowledgeable in. Well, you said read books. Internet. Podcast, yeah. Like, this fucking, the information is out there. I got ChatGPT open right now. ChatGPT. AI. Use it. You know, if I wanted to be more knowledgeable with mobility and flexibility, I hired a coach. I paid, how much? I fucking, it was in dollars. Paid a couple $100. He's an American guy. Canadian. American? I don't know where he's from. Paid this guy a couple $100 to coach me for 8 weeks. And I learned everything I needed to know that helped me at that point. And if I needed to expand and do more, go pay more. We both needed help with business, and we worked with a business coach for 3 years. I think it's 3 years, something like that. Paid thousands for the business. Paid thousands, but made thousands. Made
more thousands.
Fucking well, it's exponential now because it just goes as long as we go. So it's like I've definitely trying to think how much I can spend on him. I've definitely probably in the time period 20x'd. It's definitely a great return on investment. So when we've been in places where we've wanted to do it, it's like learn stuff. Okay, so YouTube is great. I wanted to do Rubik's Cube. Okay, I learned the Rubik's Cube on Tuesday. Okay, I watched a 10-minute video. I figured out how to do it. I memorized it within an hour. Okay, my first solve took me 11 minutes. I can now do it in sub 3. It's Saturday. No, it's Friday. It's Friday. So like you can learn these things. Lack of knowledge. Just be around people. Use people. So another one, wrestling. I'm trying to get better at wrestling. We have a wrestling coach at the gym. He's fucking great at wrestling. Teaches us wrestling. You want to learn jiu-jitsu? You now come to jiu-jitsu. You have a sprint coach? You want to get better at running? You go to your sprint coach. People, books, websites, podcasts. There is no excuse for knowledge, I think, nowadays. That's all I can think of, really. Fucking just go out and seek the knowledge. If you've got the lack of knowledge there, put yourself in the places. Something that ties quite nicely to that, number 9, is financial constraints. So let's say, can't afford a coach. Okay, pick one of the 3 options we've mentioned. You've got a financial constraint. Is that fair?
Oh yeah. What to attain?
This is number 9. No. This is number 9. So people within health and fitness, they have financial constraints. Okay, that stop them from doing certain things. Not everything. Obviously, yes. If you hire the best coaches and stuff like that, you're gonna get some real good information fucking at you fast, and you're gonna learn quickly. You're gonna overcome problems better. You know, always. That's literally. You're just taking the information right from the source and taking what you need right from the source. If you pay for the best gyms in town, you're going to have sometimes access to the best equipment. It's going to be the best experience. Okay, maybe what if you can't afford the fucking fancy gym membership that your friends go to? What if you need to go to a budget gym? $13.99 a month. What if you can't afford that? Okay, can we do some home workouts? Can we go out for a run? Running is free. Don't care what we say, running is free. It's free mental and physical therapy. Go run. If you live by the sea, go swim in the sea. You know, go on Marketplace, get a free bike. There's always people giving away free bikes on Marketplace. You know, and it's broken, get your fucking uncle or dad to fix it for you. You know, you can find ways to do it for free if you really want to do it. Financial constraints. But another thing, like, I think with let's say hiring a personal trainer, because this is something we come across when we have a consultation with clients. We're obviously talking through what they want to do, but it ultimately gets to a point where we have to sell them on our service or our products. And sometimes there'll be people that are like, yep, sweet, sign me up, I'll pay. But then there's some people who are then on the fence because you'll put the price tag out there, and then they start thinking about the price and can they afford this? Is it going to put them into fucking debt or anything like that? Pretty much they're starting to look at their priorities and it's like, is this enough of a priority to warrant this price tag for them? And sometimes you have conversations with people where we're looking at kind of their spending habits. We're looking at like, this individual spends a lot on takeaways. Let's say my personal training is £100 a month, but this person now spends £200 on takeaways. Well, I was like, well, if we do a little trade here, if we look at like you stop spending £200 a month on takeaways, you spend £100 better on good food, and then £100 on me, and those things are going to help you get to where you want to be. So sometimes it's not always an actual financial constraint. Sometimes I believe it's where you actually want to put the money and having the confidence in putting the money there. Is that fair to say?
Sometimes if making the investment has to make you change what you're already doing with your finances, good.
Yeah.
Because if you can't afford as many takeaways anymore because you've got a personal trainer, good.
Like one of our payments to our coach, our business coach, when we worked with him, I think the most I paid him in one lump sum was probably $3,500, something like that. Now that's a lot of money, $3,500. The money that I spent on him over the time period, I could have bought a flat. I could have put a deposit on a flat.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay. Maybe not now, actually. I think it's all pretty shit. But anyway, it would definitely gone towards a flat. But that's not. My priority was not flat. My priority was, how can I make more money with my business and support more people within health and fitness? And I put that money into it. Obviously, I had to be a bit more constrained with my money so I could make sure I could pay the coach. But in return, it's put me in a position where that money can be made back and made back in a lot more. And it's helped me to do the things I need to do. With coaches, that I've hired over the years, again, you put the investment into it, but you can get out of it what you want. So obviously, there is that trade in life. Unfortunately, things do cost. But if you can prioritize it, you can put that in, think of it as an investment, put that investment into it, it is going to serve you. It is going to serve you. There's people that will pay like 10 grand for liposuction. 10 grand for liposuction. How many, let's say you average
You can have a personal trainer for 1 year for 2 grand?
Yeah. Fucking.
Surely. Yeah.
Yeah, or you might even easily. Yeah, you could 10 grand, or have a personal trainer for 5 years. So 10 grand for liposuction.
Or a personal trainer for 5 years.
10 grand for liposuction.
Immediately say
but 10 grand for liposuction, right? It immediately solves a problem. You lose weight, but I guarantee in 5 years you will probably need another 10 grand to get liposuction again. Okay, because it's like a band-aid over a problem. The problem with your weight is you're shit with food, you're shit with exercise, you need to sort your shit out. Okay, but you work with a personal trainer for 5 years. It takes you longer to lose the weight, but guess what? That investment, the same amount of money you put in over 5 years, longer time to get to the result because it's not someone going in and scooping all the fat. Longer time to get the result, but you are now able and in a position to sustain that for the rest of your life. And there's so many other health, physical, and mental benefits that have come from it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. So you hire a personal trainer for 5 years for 10 grand. Within 2 years of that, you're never going to need liposuction again.
Yeah.
Because if you've committed to it for 2 years, who are you?
Yeah, you're a different person. Yeah.
You already, after 2 years, you already have all the knowledge you need. At that point, if you carry on for the next 3 years to make the full 5 years, you're just doing it because you want to be an absolute beast and and you just want more. Just give me more. Within 2 years, so 4 grand, you don't need liposuction ever again.
Yeah, I think it's looking at what it actually is going to give you long term, that investment. But yeah, I think there's 2 ways you'd look at the financial constraint. Some people may not have the money. Okay, there are 3 ways to do it. There's free advice, there's free help. Okay, there's free exercise is everywhere. I could fucking start doing some star jumps right in front of the camera, do some burpees, do some sit-ups, squat, stretching, whatever it is. I can get a workout in. Or I made the money up for the gym. And then the second thing with financial constraint is having the confidence to invest your money. Look at it like that. It is an investment. Right, number 10, social and environmental factors. So we're talking about the environment that you're in keeping you down and the social group that you keeping you down. So we're talking about, I know back when I was fucking drinking and fucking doing that a little bit more, hanging around with Charlie a little bit too much. Certain people you're around and certain environments you put yourself in can pull away from your health and fitness goals. 100%. I some of you know that I don't drink. I did an episode on it. I don't drink, and drinking for me would put me in certain environments and put me around certain people that didn't help with the overall progression I wanted within my life and within my health and fitness. So that kind of environment and social group had to go, because yes, it was fun and enjoyable at the time, but when I would come away from it, there would be a bit of stress and anxiety around it. So I think sometimes there's social groups you need to change. I think a big one I notice with clients is I'll have a client who smash it within their health and fitness, but their partner is on the same page.
That's massive.
That is massive. I do tell them they should just leave their partner. That's option 1. Option 1 is they leave their partner and they devote their life to me as their personal trainer. Option 2 is they use their now found love for health and fitness, and they try and make their environment and relationship with their partner better, and show their partner how they can do it. Usually that ends up with the partner working with me as well, and now both of them are devoting their life to me.
What about then one of the hardest things to maybe deal with as a personal trainer, but also someone who's maybe got a personal trainer or someone who's just trying to make the change, is then when you've got, what if the partner is resistant? So you have, and this is sometimes deliberate, sometimes they're aware of it, sometimes they're not entirely. But one of the most difficult things, like you get this all the time when you're personal training someone, they want to make a change, but their partner, for whatever reason, doesn't want them to change either, because
doesn't want them to change.
The partner doesn't want to change themselves, but they don't want them to change either.
Do you want my honest opinions on this? I'll go on in this.
So,
no. Yeah, that is it. I generally believe that. So, like, I think if you're trying to work on yourself and you're trying to better yourself, health and fitness, mindset, physicality, stuff like that, and if I genuinely believe if the person you are with and the people that you surround yourself, this isn't a partner, but the people you surround yourself with are not supportive of that, and even worse, if they're trying to pull you down and stop you from doing it, they need to go. They should not be in your life. I don't care if it's your fucking mum, dad, fucking your best friend, currently best friend, quote unquote, person you're with. I think if they are not supporting you, if they're just not supporting you, kind of like just in the background, and they're either they're not even supporting you or not supporting you, they're just kind of like nothing. Okay, maybe they can stay as long as they're just fucking if they're letting you do your thing. All right, let me do my thing. But if they're there like actively being a barrier, they need to fucking change their ways and they need to go. Because you have things you want to achieve, things you want to do with your health and fitness, and with your life. And I think if you had conversations with them, and you're being clear with what you want to do and what you want to achieve, and these things mean a lot to you and they're passionate to you, and that you're passionate about them, and this person's not helping you, they need to go. They shouldn't be in your life. They are now a barrier, because they are just, unless you're just happy to accept with where you are.
And it's probably not even, and that's not even you going like, that's not even you going, this is what I want, you're not on board with that with me, you need to go. Like, there's also there, like, hidden beneath that is, actually, maybe you two once had something, but actually you're in different places now.
Yeah. And
it's not there anymore.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And this is not just people you're in a relationship with. Like I said, family, friends, colleagues, okay? Your fucking dog. Alright? If your dog's not supportive, fucking out on the streets, mate. Go find yourself some fucking food. But no, like, if there's people around you and you're in environments that generally aren't serving you, and I think you need to look at the environments and people that are pulling you down first. Vet that. Get rid of that. That needs to go. Okay? Especially if it's something you care about. Then you start looking at the environments that are kind of doing nothing. They're just kind of just a fucking... what is it giving you? What's it serving you? If something's not serving you in that sense, like if it's not giving you happiness, if there's not like, you're not getting something from it. We all want different things from it, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint certain aspects I'm trying to talk about. But like, if it's not serving you in a certain way that's kind of positive for you and your goals mentally and physically, then those things will have to go, and you can start looking at where you can bring in new environments, new social groups, whether it's new friends in gym classes, run clubs, you might switch the bar, the Friday night bar for the Friday night run club. You might switch the Saturday night club again for the fucking Saturday morning sea swimming group. You start putting yourself in these things, or it might be like a networking meeting. You want to be around business people, or it might be jiu-jitsu, being around fucking autistic people, but like being around more people on the spectrum.
and sometimes this feels hard for people, right? Because people think, this has been part of my life for so long, this is going to be a shame to let it go. But sometimes what you need to understand is, like, it won't be.
It's part of progression.
It's part
of life.
The conflict is within you already, because you're trying to do something else.
And this is what baffles me. What sometimes amazes me with friendship groups that stay. There's friendship groups that stay together from school, and they'd be like, "Oh fuck it, how have you been doing this for like 15 years? You're like still friends from school. Like you're all still friends." And I'm like, I mean, I think we've spoken about this a little bit before. Sometimes I'm a bit skeptical. I'm like, are you all even still friends? Or like, wow, how are you still friends? Like, what are you doing? Because I haven't achieved that. I don't really hang around with the people I went to school with. Or did I miss something? or is is progression and stepping away from it normal? Have they just not changed? Are they the same persons they were in school? These are all fucking rhetorical questions. But like, and sometimes things I think about, but like, is there a right way to do it? Can I just stay the same? If you stay the same, okay, you stay in the same groups. If you start changing yourself, you end up in different groups. I've been in so many different groups, different friendship groups in gyms, within business, you know, and it will continue to change. You know, I only met Spencer, the person I live with, and obviously got another housemate, Dan, as well. I only met them within the last 4 or 5 years. I think I met Spencer through uni, met Dan through the gym, you know, but there'll be friendship groups that change. Me and you have only really started getting closer again over the last 3-4 years, you know, more so within this year, you know, we hadn't done it before. So it's like, it's where we're at in our lives and things that are going on. So I think you've got to be open to the change in social environmental factors, environmental groups, and like, if you are wanting to step yourself up, are there places and people that are holding you back? Like, if you want to stop doing drugs, stop hanging around with people who sell drugs and do drugs. Same with alcohol. Okay, if you want to stop drinking, don't fucking go to the bar on Friday night. That's not a good place for you. Don't do it. Okay? Like, if you want to start getting into running, go to a place where people run. Go to the run club. If you want to start going to the gym, make some friends there, go to the gym. Go to a class. Make some friends in those areas. Right, body image issues. This is a question I have for you. How do you feel about your body, Brook?
I'm pretty happy.
Pretty happy? Have you ever had a time where you've not been happy with the way you looked?
Most of my life, I feel
Most of your life?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Talk to me about it.
I think, like most people, I started going to the gym to change how I look.
Yeah.
Like, there's a bit of sports performance in there as well, but like, you know, you don't need to lift to get better at running. Like, do you? Like, so like, you know, like I could have just done more running. And like, you know, and you develop power through like jumping and like all sorts of stuff. And there's like probably loads of great runners that like don't lift. So realistically, if I think, why did I start going to the gym? It was like to change how I look. So and that was 11 years ago. And then I would say within the last like I still have things that I'm like, you know, that could be better. You know, you look at yourself and think you look perfect all the time. But I'd say within the last 2 or 3 years, I've gone, I'm good with how I look.
Good.
But like, you know, yeah, I started going to change how I look 11 years ago.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, like, I think if you're there and you're like, oh, I look perfect, there's nothing wrong with me, I think you've got a bit of a broken and hyperinflated ego. I think it's normal to have, not concerns, but, you know, not always positive thoughts about the way you look. I think that's normal. Like, I started off mine, again, wanting to look good, and my early teen years, I was classed as like fucking morbidly obese, or just overweight, obese, something like that. Did all that fucking change for life shit. I was a little fat kid, pretty much. Little fat kid, like 5'3". I was like 70 kilos. Just a little fucking round boy. Bit of an overhang on my belly. And so like I had confidence in the way I looked. Didn't want to, you know, didn't want to take my top off, long baggy clothes and stuff like that. Luckily, I hit puberty and stretched, and I became the same weight, just a foot taller, you know. So I had puberty on my side, but I still felt like the little fat kid because I hadn't done anything to make a change. Like, I would still have the same habits, and with fitness, with food, they were the same. I just grew. So I still, even though I was lean, I was tall, 6'1" string bean with abs. I still felt like the fat kid. I didn't want to take my top off straight away. Didn't feel too. I'd look in photos and I knew I felt good. I could see abs and stuff like that, but I still felt like a fat kid because nothing had changed. I hadn't done anything to do it. It just happened to me, and because everything else in terms of habits had changed, I still felt just like that little fat kid. So I definitely think as I've progressed through my training and become more in control of my body, and it's been because of my work, my manipulation with how I look has been because of, you know, me putting an effort with nutrition, me putting an effort with training and being consistent with that. My confidence has got better because I know now I can manage my weight as I want. Okay, I can manage my physique, I can develop it, I can develop my performance, you know, but before it just happened by like, not chance, you know, it's just fucking, it was my growth spurt, but like I didn't plan that. That was out of my control. So I kind of had to work away from like the little fat kid body image issues. I think body image is like big now because social media is shit sometimes. With now AI generated photos, perfect airbrush, perfect photos, you're always shown the most shredded six pack, the biggest tits, the biggest ass, the most perfect skin, you know, the most perfect physiques.
Thinnest waist.
You know, because like, you know, that's social media. We all know social media shovels us the stuff that gets loads of engagement, loads of views, so we see more of it. I think you just got to accept that like that's not real. Like Instagram's not real. It's not a real depiction of life, you know. Like I've seen people on social media and seen them in real life and they're so different. You know, Brook's actually shorter in real life, and I don't believe what he says.
Even none of it's real, and then even like the be real stuff is not real.
Yes,
you know, and then you've got all the this is what a real body looks like, and then they look amazing.
Like I try and be as real as I can through social media. I hope it really comes across. Like I'm sat here, I'm fucking got there's my toes. Like what I'm wearing now. This is literally I live my life like this. I'd go on a date like this. You know, I'm going to cinema tonight. I'll wear this. You know, but like when I'm filming myself and doing a story, I try not to make it. You know, I make sure there's lighting so you can see me. But I try not to, you know, you get some people and they're holding it up. Got to make sure I get this angle. Like put the filters on all the time. And like I just don't think it's very healthy for consumption. So when I try and put content out there, I try and like this is just what a human looks like. I don't try and if I put a transformation photo up, I don't, you know, I've got some good transformation photos, but I feel sometimes if I'm always putting up the fucking most jacked guy or the most shredded girl and stuff like that, that just doesn't help the ecosystem. So sometimes I'll put up a photo where it's like, look at this subtle change. To an outsider, sometimes, yeah, they're both photos, the person looks overweight. But we're talking about, here's a real change. This person has lost a bit of weight around their fucking ribs, around their waist. So here's a real change. Here's real change to expect. Rather than like, here's someone who's 100 kilos and now 45 kilos. Yeah. Like, that is, yes, still, I'm not taking away that kind of change. But like, sometimes when you see that, it can be like, fuck, that's like, I'm never going to achieve that. But if I put a photo of like, look at this guy who's got very subtle differences between his physique and his current. This is a stage of his weight loss. Yeah, cool. That's very subtle. That's real. That's what weight loss is. That's what changes in your physique is. It's very subtle. It's very gradual. It's a very gradual process. So I think body image is you need to kind of just learn to accept you're working on you. You're not trying to be someone else. And all the other shit out there, just like find your best way to block it. It's not real.
And some of your body image issues, like so you can do a lot to change how you feel about your body.
Yeah.
Even when the body hasn't changed.
Yeah.
People start with the gym and the training and the health and the fitness and you know, some people sometimes you get 3 weeks in, they're like, you know, I feel so much better, and you're like, their body hasn't changed yet, really. Like, but they feel good anyway because it's the life.
You feel more energized.
You're doing healthy stuff.
They're sleeping better. They're putting better food in their body. Like you can definitely, like Brook's saying, you can do things to make you feel better about your body.
And in the same way, you there's all those people. How many of the people that are on Instagram that have the six packs and the tiny waist and the bum and the legs and the biceps or whatever it is, and like how many of them are actually miserable about their body? Loads.
I know so many people that are in fantastic shape that they stress so much about posting a photo of themselves because it must be perfect. You've got to just learn to like accept with you where you're at and your progress with it all, because your progress is going to be very different to the next person in terms of your body. So just like get comfortable with that. Yeah, you can look at other people and you can admire them, you can take ideas, but just understand your own journey with it all is just going to be down to you. And if you're not too confident to like kind of go to the gym and wear fucking, you know, sports bra and leggings, you don't need to wear a sports bra and leggings. You don't need to be wearing the new matching fucking Gymshark set. You know, if you just want to go in a baggy t-shirt and sweatpants, stuff like that, a hoodie on, you go do that. Like the gym, health and fitness is there for you to be comfortable to do things yourself, and just understand, like, you may be in the gym thinking, oh, everyone's looking at me, who's that fat person on the cross trainer, who's that fat person on the treadmill, but they're not. Like, the only, like, people don't actually give a fuck about you in the gym. Like, a personal trainer coming over and speaking to you will be care about you, want to talk to you. But when you're in there just in the gym working on yourself, people look around. We all people watch, but like how often do you actually like sit and dwell on a person? You don't. Like that never actually happens unless you've got like some crazy street performer that wants your attention. That doesn't happen. Like he's got wacky hair. Then there's like gone in like 2 seconds. Oh, he's got a bit out there trousers on. Well, she's wearing something a bit revealing. That might take might look a little bit longer. But then that's that. but these things are just like fleeting thoughts. They just go like 2 seconds. So like just understand that people, as much as it may not sound nice, random people don't care about you. So just embrace that. Go and enjoy the gym. Be confident with yourself. And I think if you know you're about taking control and working on yourself, that will start to quickly like kind of manifest like your new identity. Be like, yes, I am in control. I am seeing progress. I am feeling better. Because if you're in control of it, you're in control of it. And you're kind of getting to that place within your health and fitness, especially what we see with clients. You see that development with our own body image. Is that fair to say? Mm. Yeah. Right. Unrealistic expectations. This is we've kind of just touched on that. Have you ever had anyone shock you? You definitely have. Give us an unrealistic expectation a client will have. A new client will have. There's loads.
Oh, I want to look like this. This is two. I want to look like this person. Unrealistic expectation.
Yeah.
Look like yourself.
Yeah.
But better.
Yeah.
Don't look like anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to look like this person. Here's a picture of this person. I want to look like them within 8 weeks.
Yeah. Time frame being a big one. Like, oh yeah, I'm going on holiday next week. I need to drop 3 stone. All right. Well, that's not going to happen unless we chop your leg off. It's not going to happen. So yeah, it's thinking about realistic with time frame, and sometimes that can be due to just lack of education, lack of knowledge. We've touched on that. So make sure you're kind of clued up on that. But yeah, you have to be realistic on time frame, realistic on what you can actually achieve. Like for example, a lady in her 60s is not gonna be like, oh, I want to look like I was 20 again. Okay, let's be realistic here. We're not gonna look like you're 20 again. Okay, you've aged, right? It's not gonna happen. Okay, unless you take some fucking crazy surgery, spend a little money on that. But we can we can make progress to maybe get you closer to that. I'm not sure how close we'll be able to get you, but like we can definitely be closer. Being 20 again. Probably not going to happen. You aged. But we can work on that. And again, weight loss. People will be like, yeah, I want to lose, 20 pounds this week. Bit crazy. Just take a step back. I know some people can get excited. They want to kind of do that. But it's like we've got to be real with what you're actually trying to do, what you're actually trying to achieve. And again, that can be down to lack of knowledge. And it will also be down to people being impatient. Yeah. People being impatient with these kind of things. What else can you think about with that? Have you ever had any unrealistic expectations you've set of yourself?
Of myself? Probably.
Yeah? Like what? Go on.
I don't know.
Running sub 11 seconds?
No, that's not unrealistic. That's not unrealistic.
Good. You could do it. But that's because he believes in it, because he understands what it takes to get there, and he's putting in the work to do it. What are you currently at now?
If you can run, I'm not going to run 11.1. I can run
11.1.
10.9.
Wait, what are you currently at?
But I run 11.1. That's the best I've done.
That's the
current best I've done.
That's the current best you've done.
So I can run 11.1. I can run 10.9.
Okay, because he knows he can do it. He's put in the work for it. Right. But yeah, I think that just comes down to like get the knowledge on the things. Okay, understand how long these things actually take, and think about what is actually realistic for you. Okay, like could you do it mentally, and is it something you can achieve physically? Like, I'm sorry, but if you're 5'2", you're probably not going to make the NBA draft. All right. I
did have a friend who's a PT.
Yeah.
Who got an email from someone once saying, "Yo, man, I want to be taller."
I had a guy ask me to be. Look, if you're over 20. You're done with your growing, right? You're not growing anymore. Okay, you want to be taller. Hey, but some people believe that. So it's an educational thing. Just speak to the people who can help you with that, or go and find the information out on it, and then you can start understanding what is a smart time frame and what is actually realistic. don't go saying you want to look like someone else.
All you need to do is be better.
Yeah.
That's all anyone really needs. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like you had the example of the 70-year-old person. I want to look 20. Like, why? You don't have to look 20. You just have to look like. Why don't we have you still looking 70 when you're 80?
Yeah.
Like, have you have you looking 60 now that you're 70?
Yeah,
like,
that's realistic.
Like Yeah.
Yeah. No. Right. Stress. We were kind of stress and emotional eating. We'll get it. Fucking. I was. I'm trying to think last night actually. I was just trying to think of an example, but nothing actually came to mind. Stress and emotional eating. I have stress and emotionally ate, just because you can't be fucked with something else. Mainly I like celebratory eat, probably want to call it. Just like if I'm celebrating something, like I've just done a jiu-jitsu competition, done well, fucking get myself something, you know, not, I don't know, it's called cheat food, but I'm not fucking splashing out on the calories. Or, you know, me and Lauren go out for a nice meal, don't do it that often, so we factor that something in, you know.
I think I celebratory eat more than I
celebratory.
stress.
I don't think I stress eat, because I know if I was to stress eat, it would make me more stressed and emotionally. But I know people do it. I know people go to it for those cravings. So I don't want to go too in on fucking trauma around food, okay? But I do have a lot of clients. I've worked with a lot of people with that, and usually there's certain triggers. I don't know how much you've gone around binge eating and stuff like that.
I think like there's an element to which like you sometimes don't know what you're talking about. But there's an element to which like you sometimes have to talk about psychology with those clients that have got because like no one just eats and ends up really 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 overweight without the like just because they like food. Like there's some psychology involved, and you have to like talk about it, and like when you have like stress and emotional eating, it's usually that like we all have stress in our lives, we all have pain, we all have trauma, we all have emotion, but at some if you stress and emotionally eat, at some point in your life you have had some stress and some trauma, you've gone to food, it made you feel a bit better, and it's become something that you've learned. And I believe that if that's now something that you've learned, it can be something that you unlearn or you learn an alternative. Because the reality that you have to understand is if you stress or emotionally eat, you're always going to have stress, you're always going to have emotions, but you don't always have to eat to be that thing that you...
People go to the food for the comfort blanket because it makes them feel good. It's what they've known, and sometimes it's been so long they've been doing it they don't know why they still do it. So it's looking at like how you can kind of replace that trigger when something happens. It's like, okay, what's something else that makes me feel good but doesn't, you know, destroy my health and fitness? Do I enjoy reading? Do I enjoy going to watch something? Do I enjoy walking somewhere? Do I enjoy, you know, being around certain people? You know, so can I start, you know, changing the actions subtly? So then it starts coming away from it's about the food and it's now about something else. So when I kind of have certain feelings, certain emotions, certain stresses, rather than reaching for the fridge or reaching for the app to order some food, I'm going for something else.
And changing those things is the hard part. Like changing those things is harder than just eating because really like changing how you eat is easy, right? Because it's like, here's a vegetable, put it in your mouth, chew, swallow, done. Like, but that's not how it works.
No.
Because the hard bit is these feelings, and that's why the psychology is important. You have to then, I think maybe if you have those issues when you're starting to make your lifestyle change, you have to be able to go, I have to work on my psychology and my mindset here, not just the food thing, because you're not just learning food, because learning food is easy, but learning yourself is what you're working on.
Learning the food, learning why these things are getting to you, and learning how to handle your emotions better, being more in touch with your emotions. 'Cause like you said, it's not about getting rid of your emotions and getting rid of stress and getting rid of the anxiety we have all day, but how can we cope with it better? How can we deal with it better? How can we be on top of it and understand why these things are happening? I think that's the important bit. So yeah, you know, does exercising, you know, curb your stress and anxiety? Okay, so let's exercise more. does going out on walks help better? Are you less stressed when you sleep better? Are you actually less anxious when you're on more control of your food? Are there certain environments that make you emotional that shouldn't put yourself in it? Do you always have an argument with your fucking friends when you go to the pub? Do you always have an argument with your partner when you go to certain places? Okay, maybe let's just avoid those environments so we're not, causing these stressful and emotional things. Do you fucking hate your job? All right, well, let's leave because it's causing you stress and emotion and it's leading to food. So, if you can't, because if your job environment's not going to change, maybe we should switch it up. Or is there certain people you're with that's causing stress and anxiety? And again, you're reaching for food. So there's certain things that can switch up. A lot of these kind of tie together if you're not realising that. All right, number 14, this will be short and sweet. Medical conditions. Kind of a bit of a boring one to finish on, don't you think? No, I mean, medical conditions, obviously, you're not a fucking doctor with all of this. But, I can understand there can be certain things that, you may have that are out there that hold you back. And it could be belief around your health, or it could be you actually have something that's stopping you. So if we talk about it more from just any kind of barrier stopping you, it's you're gonna let's think of this similar as injury. What's the alternative of something that you can do if you are generally limited medically? An alternative, okay. And if this is a medical issue you can work on, whether it's cardiovascular or something like that, what's then something you can do to potentially aid that? To make that medical condition better, if it's something that can actually go away, because you could be at a point where it's all right, this is something I just have to live with, let's say diabetes, for example, and you have to manage your blood sugar levels and stuff for that, and sometimes it messes with your energy. Okay, that's something you got to live with for life, but how can you manage that better? How can your nutrition be better, your sleep, your exercise, and how do you work around that, to make it better for you as better as possible?
Yeah,
I don't think I've got anyone at the moment that's got any medical issue. Actually, no. I got a lady who takes B12 injections. Her body's crap at producing B12, so she has periods. I think she has them every 3 months. So has the injection, boom, feels a bit tired after the injections. She understands that. And then she has 2.5 months of really good energy, and then when she knows it comes close to the injection time, it starts to tear off. Okay, so we then understand just after injection and on the lead up to next injection, energy is not 100%. But then we know in that time frame in the middle, we're golden. So we just work around that. But at the moment, though, I can't think of anyone else that I currently have doing medical conditions like that. Maybe mental. People are just a bit fucked.
I do have some people dealing with some medical conditions, but I don't want to talk about them too much. Because it would be really easy to know who that person is.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And then
mine one's common. I've had so many people like mine.
But it's hard. But then the thing, I think you just what I'm trying to get maybe some of those people or that person to recognise at the moment is you have something that gives you a challenge, but working on your health and your lifestyle is always the right thing to be doing. Yes. There's no way in which not working on your fitness and your health, there's no way that that's going to make your health condition worse. Yeah. You should still be doing this. And just the idea there's always something, sort of like you were saying a minute ago, there's always something we can be doing to make any situation better.
Yeah.
And that's in my head this week at the moment. I was talking to someone on Tuesday about something I was stressed with. You don't know her, but it's someone who's a lady who's older than me. She's way more successful than me, and she's awesome. She's someone I respect a lot. But she just said to me the other day on Tuesday, there's always something we can do to make this situation less shit. There's we can fix anything, we can make anything better. And it's maybe we can fix anything. It's kind of maybe you can't fix and solve everything, but you can make everything better.
You make yourself feel better about situations, you can change your perspective on things.
You can make everything better than it currently is.
Yes, 100%. I agree. Well, as a summary, as a recap, we've gone through lack of motivation, time management, diet, nutrition, consistency, injury and recovery, plateaus, mental barriers, lack of knowledge, financial constraints, social and environmental factors, body image issues, unrealistic expectations, stress and emotional eating, and medical conditions. I can't think of any other hurdles and barriers that we haven't probably touched on. That probably encompasses everything. Unless
everything probably fits into that.
Everything
somewhere.
fits into that somewhere, even if we haven't said those exact words. I hope listening to this or watching this and consuming this has helped you with something, helped you with a hurdle. It's been great to have you over here, kind of giving your knowledge and your kind of angle of it as well, because we've obviously had different experiences with health and fitness. We've both experienced these things just in different ways. We've had clients who've experienced it in different ways, so it's kind of good to get someone else's perspective. So thank you for going through these 14 points with me, Brooke.
Thank you, Tomo.
As always, Brooke's information's below as always. We hope you enjoyed this. There'll be more to come. Anything else to say?
Nah, I don't think so.
Ciao, ciao. Catch you later. Bye, 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 bye.
Bye.